Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, the grand finals of the Team Liquid Starleague 9, the Rank 1 versus Rank 2 players. A best of 7, starting up a game because no one could beat him up to this point. It is the world champion. It's Serral. Needs no introduction, but I gotta justify your likes and subscribes and your presence here by pretending to do him justice. Let's see if there's a Terran who can bring him to justice. If anyone, it is in the top left, the man, the myth, the Maru. The #1 Terran player in the world for many years now. Playing professional StarCraft 2 since the age of 13. Both these players, StarCraft 2 millionaires. A very exclusive list, only Rogue joining them. Now both of them looking to add a solid chunk to it. Now once again, as Serral managed to get through the winner's bracket without dropping any series, he gets a slight advantage. Only needs 3 games to win. Maru, all 4. But we're starting on Moondance, which is definitely a map Terran players aren't going to be too unhappy with. You've got your pocket base. Mostly that's most of it. It's also pretty easy to do a lot of tank pushes from the low ground, especially on the 4th bases. That's usually where we see the focal point of Terran strategies. Serral's someone who will not hesitate to take his bases in a timely manner, and then the rest of the map not soon after that. Or soon after that, actually. Now that I think about my own words, which I rarely do, and that's probably a good thing. Nothing untoward starting out. Serral's tucked an Overlord into that back corner. Maru with a second command center, not trying any shenanigans in what is effectively game 1. Doing a reactored Marine build into Widow Mines. So no reactored Hellion to kick things off. Instead, trying something a little different. I mean, come on, it's Serral. So you want to keep him off balance. You're playing a whole series. Maru is one of the best players in the world, if not the best at playing the whole series. Especially as a Terran player. Against someone like Serral, you can't let him adapt. Serral is essentially the Borg, okay? Resistance is futile, and if you try the same strategy too many times, he will assimilate you. And he'll take your prize money, and he'll look good doing it. Roach Warren, on the way, but more drones, heading up to about 39. Speed finishing up. Is Serral going for some sort of all-in, or is he opting for the defensive roach? Well, like, at this point, the fact that Hellions haven't come out is a little suspicious, to say the least. The medevac, I don't believe, was spotted. Maru manages to slip it out where there is no vision, but now Serral will see it heading towards the main. Enough Zerglings to partially box it out, boost the medevac. Will the Widow Mine drop first? Indeed it does. Finds the little spot. Oh my god, perfectly done. I gotta stress this. Maru dropped in the gap in the minerals. The only place that Zerglings couldn't get the surface area in order to kill the mine before it burrowed. And that allowed him to get the kills. And he gets out with the rest. So, details. That's what this series is going to be all about. Details. And that is about as good as it was going to start for Maru, but the roaches are already spotted. Serral's counter swing. Roach Ravager doesn't even bother trying to hold the wall. Maru retreats all the way into the main. He has a lot of production right now. Just started a Banshee. But Serral's roach count, he was already winding up for this attack. The medevac comes back, badly bruised, but the Marine's still inside of it. Maru is now supply block. That Banshee is everything. The only really guaranteed damage here. Serral just going to put a timer on the orbital, breaking through the front. Roach Ravager, auto turret, easily dispatched. The depot is broken and Serral's Lings will be streaming through. Banshee nearly complete. Half a dozen of the boys looking to repair the stim pack, but it's denied. Marines trying to add to the damage. Banshee targeting Ravagers. Corrosive Biles up. Can't spend too much time running away. Need to actually fight at some point. Hellions, repair. Not enough for another auto turret. The Banshee finding an opportunity, but Serral is breaking through. He's bashed down both walls. He's inside the main. The SCVs are unprotected, and Maru's cute plays are nothing in the face of the damage Serral's able to bring to the table. More Zerglings stream through. The tank is too little too late. A single Banshee won't stop every SCV from being slaughtered. Several dozen of them saves the tank in the medevac. 38 SCVs. Maru with less than he started with. SCVs being healed while they repair the tank. But I don't think Serral's gonna let this go on any longer. The wall is breached. Well, Maru has 6 SCVs, back to a Wings of Liberty start. The reactor on the barracks that isn't even finished is being repaired. So Maru, like any great Terran player, is considering floating to the corner, because that may be the only way to extend the game much further. Make no mistake, it's very bad for Maru. It is... If it was anyone but Maru, I would be seriously questioning their continued presence in this match. And even for Maru, this is borderline. If he comes back from this, it's going to be a combination of Serral signing up for Major League Baseball and Maru's incredible plays, as it would have to be quite a throw. There is no cloak. One Banshee down. A third command center building, but another round of roaches and Zerglings. Look at the supply. It's, yeah, there's still no wall. He couldn't afford it. Changeling. Alright here, Serral says it's time. GG. Game 1 goes to the finisher. Game 2 puts 2 on the board. Well, that was not very close. I don't know what Maru could have done very much better. I mean, there's a reason you usually don't open up with a medevac, and the reason is because it leaves you vulnerable to timings like that. It can be good if you're relatively sure your opponent is not going for some sort of, like a Roach Warren, for example, and Serral hid the Roach Warren. He put it at the natural, where it was unlikely to be scouted. Game 2 is Cosmic Sapphire, which Maru is... Yeah, well... Where are you going, SCV? Yeah. Maru back to the classics. Not 1, but 2 wrecks. It's not a matter of if, but when with this strategy. Maru has been proxy 2-rexing for as long as he's been playing StarCraft 2, and it's been a reasonable strategy since then. Maru was the one, his micro impeccable, and his pragmatic decisions past it. A big key to the 2 wrecks is how uncommitted it is. It's not actually all in, though it is important you get something done. You got to keep them somewhat busy. It can cover very well. All you have to do is kill a couple drones, maybe a queen or 2. A bunch of, even forcing out a bunch of Zerglings can still put you in a pretty comfortable spot. We'll see how Serral responds to it. He will not have vision, despite scouring somewhat. He seems to have, based on his mini-map camera, it seems like he has a camera location for every base in the game, which I refuse to believe is the case. Well, here we go. He sees it. The drones are pulled. He's trying to get to the pervert pillar over here, and he knows, well, Maru has to pull the Marines up towards the bunker. Serral sends out 10 drones. Just, why kill the SCV when you can just kill the bunker? It's so simple. Well, he delays the bunker. Forces the restart. Zerglings are coming out. Without them, 3 Marines is definitely a deadly number. Mineral Walk looking for the surround. So far, looking good. The drones, the Predator drones closing in. 2 Marines down. 3 drones is the cost so far. The bunker may actually finish, though I'm not entirely convinced anything will get into it. The Zerglings are pull up. Last second denial. Denied. Forces a cancel. 6 drones down, though. Overall, Serral holds strongly, but it isn't free. Oh, and the Overlord vulnerable. Serral notices the barracks moving. Is it in time? The queens cannot transfuse off of creep. No. Losing that Overlord is actually one of the most impactful parts of the damage Maru has done. But speaking of damage, the command center on the low ground is now a command center of regret, as there are literally no units at home. That's a significant delay. The Overlord dying was bad, but having no units until these Marines come back, that's a big delay on the CC. Oh my god, you can't lose the depot. Don't let him in. Serral Zerglings always get it. Alright. They are taken out. And where does that leave us? Overall, we're in the scenario Maru was trying to bring us to. Serral did not defend that perfectly. I mean, about as well as you ever could, but Maru wasn't scouted until he showed up at the natural, which means Serral had to respond afterwards, which means he lost drones, he lost the Overlord, delayed his third. He doesn't really have any opportunity to do counterattack past this. Oh, that's awkward. Oh, will he scan for it? No, we don't do that at this level. Or almost ever. The drone count is not nearly as comfortable as you'd like it to be. Part of that is the lack of third. Part of that is the drones weren't mining. They were busy fighting Marines. Another Roach Warren out of Serral. Putting it at the natural. What do we have in there? 3 Hellions. And a Medevac finishes off the Overlord, providing that vision. And this is that low economy situation Maru thrives in. Hellions up towards the main. Oh, what a block! He uses the Spore Crawler to block out, but it's not quite enough as Maru. Well, he gets 5 drones, but he loses 2 Hellions. Serral with the most minimalist defense. The Hellion dropping into that little mineral pocket, which is usually used to defend the workers, but Maru using it the other way. He gets 6 drones, and these are some of the most important 6 drones you can get. As right now is when Serral, if he was going for economy, he'd want to be building it up. But since he's going for an attack, it just hamstrings any potential follow-up. Also, the attack has been spotted. There is no wall at the moment, but the Zerglings will wait just that extra split second. He spots the Overlord, but he also spotted the Ravagers, the Zerglings, the Roaches. Maru is prepared. You shall not easily break this wall, says Maru. I mean, you'll probably get the first one, but that's why we have second wall. The bunker, a Banshee is out, putting a timer on this whole thing. A much better setup than the previous game, and Serral has much less behind it. A tank on the high ground to hold the door, but the Zerglings get the surround, has to pick up, juggles to the front. The tank is down for the count. The Zerglings get in. Serral always finds some damage. Zerglings into the main, but the bunker holds, and that means the natural will at least be a staging area for the defense. overall, 13 SCVs does not add up. Oh, so, where does that leave us? A scrappy game thus far. Serral with an awkward amount of drones. Maru has a third command center. Did Serral see it? Serral saw it. The third command center, I think, tilts this. Without it, Serral, I think, did enough damage to justify that attack. But the fact the third command center is finishing up, as well as 3 wrecks already done, that means that Maru has already invested in his production, and it's already paid off. So he no longer has to put that money into his tech, into his upgrades, into his reactors and his command centers and all that. He can just focus on unit production mostly. Whereas Serral is just now getting a lair. He doesn't have, well, he has the Evo chambers, but he has some catch-up to do here. The one saving grace, though, is the Banshee means medevacs are delayed, and the Marine count wasn't nearly high enough to do a double medevac timing. So, while Serral is in a bit of an awkward position without map control, his creep spread, even with minimal queens, is impeccable and oppressive. He's up to 55 drones. Getting 1-1, he actually manages to get 1-1 slightly quicker than Maru. Maru with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 more racks, which is going to bring him to 7. Even before 50 SCVs. So Marines. And then he's going to transition into his favorite strategy, which is more Marines. Baneling speed is the first priority on the Bane Nest as a lair finishes, as well it should be. Giving not just the speed, but that plus 5 HP, which allows you to close the distance so much more quickly. Tank on the way. More reactors. I expect we'll see with 1-1 finishing, Maru moving out and trying to put on some pressure. As Serral has been left alone for a bit. I mean, there's a dropout on the map. That's about the extent of the map control at the moment. The main base production is all spun up. Serral has no other lair tech. He's reliant on just, well, counterattacks, which he's already setting up for, and crushing any frontal attacks. And he's taking the gold. Which, of course, is a nice springboard of economy, if he can actually keep it. The supplies right now, about even. Huge counterattack, but what does that leave at home? 4 tanks, but Serral gets in. He blasts through the Marines. The natural is breached. Maru has to do damage on the other side as they both start swinging at each other. There will be damage done. Serral gets into the main. 16 SCVs already down, but the tank push is going to be insanely difficult to dislodge. I say it, and then Serral just rolls right through. The brunt of Maru's Marines will hold the line. No more Banelings. Some of the Banelings hitting the tanks. The Queen's trying to clean it up. The frontal attack still going, but Serral kills 28 SCVs on the other side of the map. Hamstringing Maru's economy, but his army supply is still looking okay. He's still got Marines, a couple Banelings, but on their own, easily sniped off. The tanks helping out, reinforcements sprinting to the front. The creep has receded, and Serral just taps it out. Left in that awkward scenario without the production in order to overwhelm Maru's attack. The economic situation just not trending towards him. Maru holds on and strikes back. Back to the spawning pool for Serral. The 2 racks. A classic for Maru. He takes the game, he grabs it, and he puts it exactly where he wants it, which is this kind of scrappy, low economy. Not only Terran specifically, but Maru specifically loves those scenarios. If he can sit there juggling a Hellion in and out of a medevac, he'll do that for 4 minutes straight if it comes down to it. Now, rarely does it, but that is his comfort zone. I would not be surprised to see more strategies that revolve around bringing Serral into that kind of awkwardly low economy situation. Waterfall on game 4 is not a bad place to do it. Relatively small map. Every attack is going to come off a little bit quicker. But the middle of the map, yeah, Serral is setting, oh, he's sending the Overlord out on that one, but I'm sure he has like 7 camera locations. He's got one of those like MMO mice with 17 buttons on the side, like Florencio, just for camera locations. I wouldn't be surprised. No, it's probably just you simply hit Control, Shift, Alt, and both tab buttons, and then you just dunk your face down on the keyboard, and that's how I set my camera locations. Ah, clearly a man of culture. Maru with his barracks and his main. So far, not a reliable strategy for him. But a sample size of 1 is not particularly comprehensive. A beautiful map, though. Winner of the Team Liquid map contest. I think partially I'm a sucker for it. I think many people are as well. I love when the bases have a different look to them. They are geometrically symmetrical, but just having the slightly different tile set so you can easily tell what side you're on, I think adds a lot of flavor. Maru, looking like, well, is it going to be Reactor Helens? Because he got the factory quite quick. He might go for the Widow Mine drop again. I think it might just be because I see it. It might be because I see it only against these top cream of the crop Zergs. But the Widow Mine drop medevac openers never seem to do enough. It seems like the counter is simply building queens, which is not an exception, but instead is the rule for Zerg builds. So, as Scarlet once explained to me, why would you build Overlord speed? What are you gonna do? Scout that you need to build more queens? Like, when I asked, like, why don't more Zergs get Overlord speed? You're gonna spend 100 gas and have less queens just to scout you need more queens? Which, honestly, is quite a good point. It's going to be the Widowmine drop again. Now, last time Serral just... the Counter-Strike Serral offensive bashed through. A key point on Moondance is the natural did not have a ramp up to it. That is partially, I think, why Maru retreated to the high ground to try to defend. Because if there's no ramp, there's no real choke point to defend. There's no way you can have even some sort of defender's advantage for your units. They will just get through easily with Ravagers. Waterfall, while it might be a smaller map, does have the ramp to the natural, which is that extra layer and level of defense. Alright, Maru. Convince me. Sell me. On the Widow Mine drop. He's got a Raven behind. Oh, could it be Mech? No. He's also got Stim Pack. Oh, God. It's the strat. Serral deals with it. So, you Terran players, you weren't microing enough, okay? What you gotta do is you gotta drop the mine directly in the mineral pocket. Don't try this now. This is 100% one of those builds. That is Maru, maybe. Everyone else, no. The Venn diagram is just 2 circles on who gets to do this, all right? It's Maru and everyone else. And even then, it's a little questionable. The one benefit of this, I think, is potentially threatening overlords as well as the mineral line in a way a Viking can't. But of course, if the queens just kill it, that's not so great. The Raven added on. The queens trying to hold the land bridge, which I guess most bridges are land bridges, but Widowmine spotted. Oh, and the Widowmine does just as much damage to Maru as it does to Serral. The queens easily take out the medevac, and yeah, well, get off my lawn. Brenda's knitting crew just kind of counters everything here, especially as an auto turret. It does decent damage. Going to delay the... Oh, just disrespectful. Serral wastes 150 minerals, essentially just to flex. Wow. Oh, okay, I'll cancel it. Don't worry. Sure. Because buildings start with 10% or so of their HP. I believe that's the number. So when you do just pop right back into it, that's why you're able to survive where a drone wouldn't. Serral's already expanded to the left side as well. Okay, like, he's not going to just get behind. He's going to find a way to get ahead. The creep spread. Now, it only takes like 4 creep tumors to do this, but the creep spread's already halfway across, despite the Raven from Maru. What is this depot placement? This is... What is this, Maru? It's not a wall. He's got, like, the Zerglings will try to get through. This looks like a Bronze League hero. Not Bronze League. This is like Platinum. Bronze League, they're perfectly symmetrical. Platinum is when you start trying to micro or something. Yeah, this is... Wow. This is something. He's making a tower defense maze for the Zerglings. That is... I mean... It's not the worst idea. It's the blurst idea. What is this, Maru? Armory is on the way. Maru's sending a tank push along the right flank. Serral has 75 drones, so we can lean now on that Z key. Ling's Bane's Baneling's speed. Probably the most key upgrade. A tank push, though. We saw how effective it was last game. But Serral gets in. The Baneling slipped through and gets 7 SCVs. We'll have to see if Maru can do damage in turn. On the opposite side, Raven, intact. Anti-armor missile? No. Triple auto turret to hold the line. But Lynx and Bane just crushed! The jaws of Serral close, and Maru finds himself dead center. Oh, well. Maru kind of, well, gave any amount of time. Great tank shot to slow down the Bane count. And that may be enough to hold the line for now. Thing is, though, Serral is on all cylinders at the moment. However many there are. A lot of them. As it's the key part of this is the economic damage. It's unlikely these attacks will be deadly from either side. They just don't have enough behind them. But Serral killed SCVs. He drove back the tanks. Lings and Banes, you just make more Lings and Banes. Tanks take time. SCVs, to some extent, take time. So I'd call that a win in most respects for Serral. Now the creep stretching out further. Serral on how many hatches? He has a macro hatch coming up in the main hive on the way. 2-2 is actually a little quicker for Maru. He's adding 1, 2, 3 more racks and another factory. The Marine's looking for an opportunity. No base here. About to spot it. Zerglings and Banelings lining up for a counterattack, but the triple drop towards the main. Divide and conquer. That's the intent here from Maru. Let's try to go. All right, brace yourselves. The Maru action cam. It's about to get heavy. Maru sending the drop towards the 5th. Lining up on the 4th. Triple drop. Dropping out onto the... Actually, that's the 6th base for Maru. 2-2 finishing up. Slurps up. Cancels the base. Buying time. Back at home. Setting up. Moves the command center. All the racks hotkeyed in. SCVs. Attack coming. Sets up for the attack. Triple drop into the 3rd. Serral not quite there to respond. Maru spots it. Huge attack. Where are the tanks? Where are the Banes? He needs to target the Banelings. He's not. He's looking the other way. But actually, Serral is shut down. I guess Maru knew a lot better than I did that Serral's attack was not going to be enough to break through. Partially, I assume, because of how much was at home. The sheer number of Zerglings. We got 168 Zerglings. I mean, more and more being added into Banes. 172 Zerglings for Serral right now. Looking like the Legacy... No, the Heart of the Swarm cinematic. Let's be accurate here. Ghost Academy on the way from Maru. That fateful building, which can turn the tides, even when it seems like the Zerg is an ocean. The creep. Driven back. Doesn't take much to get back to the bases here. Just such a small, enclosed space. Medevacs pick up. Maru buying time here. The tank count being increased, but the Vipers looking to help deal with it. Whatever happened to those drops? Maru? There's some Vipers out there looking pretty sus. The triple drop. I think that was the damage Maru did earlier, but though it may have been Viper consume. I think he's mostly stuck on the left side of the map. Huge Zergling, Baneling swarm. There are 4 ghosts, 9 tanks, multiple command centers to block. Maru. Whoa. Oh, God. Oh, the ghosts. EMP gets the Vipers, though most of the spells got off anyway. Serral incidentally killing the planetary. Maru holds for now. The drop counter damage, looking for something. Cancels, or actually kills the hatchery. Not that a kill versus a cancel is a huge difference right now. Maru had the backup command center on standby. 110 Zerglings in the production tab. Serral playing 300 supplies Zerg. Oh my, and they don't stop coming. Jesus. +3 just started for Maru. Well, I guess +3 attack is pretty far along, but not as quick as it could be. +3 Carapace on the way. Already adrenal glands. More Lings and Banes. The Marines are picked up. The Marauders left to soak up the rest. At least for a time. I don't know how many command centers are out there. The Ghosts being added on. But the best counter to Ghosts for Zerg, at least that Serral's shown us, is simply having so many units they have nothing valuable to snipe. Just such a overwhelming and oppressive amount of Lings and Banes that the Ghosts become no better than another Marine or Marauder in those fights. Well, Maru stims in, looking for the base, not gonna find it, trying to bait out Lings. Oh, Parasitic Bomb. Repairs the medevac with everyone inside very stressed out. Oh, God. Oh, those Marines. The creep tumors encroaching. Maru... Serral's starting to take Maru's bases at the moment. Hellbats. Hellbats with +3 and Blue Flame actually spontaneously combust Zerglings. They are possibly the most effective counter to Zerglings that only cost minerals, or at least is mostly minerals. Yes, they're the Hell Chads which is only when they get their upgrades, at least 3 upgrades, and Blue Flame. They don't become Hell Chads. Before that, they're just Hell Bitches, okay? When they die to Queens, like half a dozen Banelings can wipe out their... But after they get the +3 in Blue Flame, at this stage of the match, they definitely add some value. It's like Captain America before and after. Holding the line. The auto turret's out. Serral tries to stream through. The Banelings still incredibly numerous. The Liberator's yanked out of the fray. Tanks looking for more. The secondary line holding. The tank line is too deep. And Serral is repelled. But for how long? And at what cost? There was not nearly enough anti-air. The Queen... Brenda! Where are you? Come back! No! Oh, no! The Queen's a little ambitious with the creep spread. The Raven's still intact. Another wave. But Maru's also maxed out here. The Lings and Banes looking to make their way through. Banelings rolling. Tanks getting great shots. Serral. Roll it all the way through the tank line. Blinding Cloud helping. The tank count reduced to 1. The Viking... 156 Zerglings in production. Serral. Oh my god. I mean, Serral's actually out of minerals. Like, he can't do this forever. But can he do it longer than Maru can stop him? Here we go again! The SCVs don't want to be caught in front. The tank count is not quite as high. Maru was not maxed out for this one. Blinding Cloud. The SCVs kind of mucking things up here. The Planetary not going to die. The Baneling's still rolling through. No detection, but they still do their splash. More Lings and Banes. The Hydra's at the back. The Planetary explodes. And Maru. That might have been the few hundred Zerglings that slowly crippled Maru's back. But Serral, it cost him. He doesn't have, this, contrary to popular belief, he doesn't have unlimited money. And while the income, oh wow, he's slowly burying Maru in the income tab. And creep. And in many other ways. Serral is unable to remax. And Maru is up to 13 ghosts now. The ghosts not nearly as effective against the Ling Bane as they are against things like Lurkers and Broodlords. But they still don't struggle too hard against the mass Zerglings. The Banelings are a real threat, though. If Maru can hold one more wave, that might be enough. A single Viper yanks a tank. EMP, no wait, Blinding Cloud, forces the split. Baneling still rolling. Cloak used, anti-armor missile, goes for the SCVs, orbital vulnerable, Ghost survive. The Banelings roll through, they don't get the killing blow. The Hellchads are here. The Hellchads have arrived, plus 3 Hellbats. They immolate Zerglings on contact. And Serral is out of minerals. Of course, Maru is not rich. Serral is definitely starting to mine Maru's minerals, or at least what some people would call them. For Serral, it was a Tuesday. Or a Sunday, I don't... We'll have to see if the tower defends maze. Maru down to 36 workers. The Hellchads just... Oh my god! The Pyroblasts. But the Hellbats are no longer there. The Banelings, the Ghosts at the back. The depots were not raised. The tanks needed target fire, but the Ghosts hold. I'm more and more convinced that the Hellchads are the late game option over Marines and over things like tanks. something a little more mobile that works with the medevacs. They found their spot. Oh my. And Serral is starting. He's got the gas. He's building infestors because that's all he has. Maru only has one mineral patch left, though. Serral has played, like, he says, I'll drag you down with me. As the economies go from overwhelming to almost nothing. Serral has 1.5 bases mining. Maru has 1.5 mineral patches mining. So, Serral is definitely still ahead in that count. And it may just be checkmate. It's just... Oh no. Oh no. The burrowed infestors. Maru just lands it. He has to know Serral's coming for it. He's desperate for the minerals. But Serral has choked him out. He's like, at no point did Serral sit back and build the, quote, right army. Oh my god. The neural parasite on a tank does very little. Cloaks the ghost. Great splits. Snipes hydras. Medevacs in an awkward spot. The ghost. Maru just has nothing left. Serral was one bad fight away from being broke. But Maru is none. If Maru had one more base to fall back on, maybe the tides turn, but it's not enough. Serral is broke. I mean, Maru is broke. Serral has cut off his resources. He's cut off his hands, his feet, and left him but a ghost. Fun fact, that's how Hellbats are created. EMP the ghost. Resistance is futile. Serral EMPs the ghost for the finishing blow. Oh, what a finisher. Oh my. The best counter to ghosts is ghosts themselves. Serral the Ghostbuster. Well, match point. That was madness. I am mad at myself for not opening the units lost tab to see how many Zerglings he lost. Oh, Serral. That was... It's just... It's so much. My hands hurt. My wrists. For both of them, but... That's why I'm a commentator. That's what we, especially American StarCraft fans, are all about. We may not... Okay, we may not be the best players. Alright. But... we like talking. So, if you enjoy... Jimmy! Jimmy, the game's up! I swear. We're not very good at the technologies or the StarCraft, but the words. We got great words. I'm willing to share them with you. So, like and subscribe. Game 5. Match point for the finisher. And what a finish. It's not like Maru played poorly. I am not convinced. I'm sure it works great in practice and on the ladder. But I think the Widowmine drop and like the medevac opener is something that works against everyone but like, I don't know, Serral and Raynor. Because it clearly gives you a lot of options as Terran. And different options than Hellion Banshee or just the Hellion openers. But at the same time, I feel like Serral is someone, he's like those cooking videos you watch on the TikToks or something. Where you ask someone to slice this tomato into... this is a hypothetical, okay? You slice a tomato into 7 pieces, and they're like... Boom, perfect 7 pieces. That's Serral defending, okay? He doesn't even have to think about it. It's just... You look away for 5 seconds, and the exact right amount of Zerglings and Banelings appear, exactly where they need to be. I don't know how he does it. We need to bottle it, we need to distill it, and we need to distribute it. And I bet we could make a lot, almost as many dollars as Serral has made on StarCraft 2 off of that. Is it command center first? Command center, on match point, let his data see, but command center first into 2 ranks. Maru, Marines, and Micro. I haven't seen a better M&M build since, I don't know, 8 Mile. So, this is what Maru's gonna lean on. Serral's getting in here. I imagine a small smirk, which is all he's ever allowed himself. Just a Marines, indeed. Interesting. Looks at his Ling speed. As soon as the Zergling dies, slaps down a 3rd command center. Maru is not gonna try to all in this. He was so close. He was so close. I'm actually loving the Hell Chads. Okay? The Hell Chads are... It doesn't even matter if they're combined with the Ghost, though obviously they're better with it. I've come around entirely. Well, no, I haven't. They're essentially a different unit than the early game version. I will not get all the people like, well, Winter, you said Hellbats are not very good, and you shouldn't do Hellbat pushes in the early... I stand by that. I stand, and I slowly waddle forward like a Hellbat, and commit to that statement. But once you get that +3 attack in Blue Flame, they are just better than Marines. They're a better option than Marines. And they can be healed by Medivacs. So... that is a confusingly effective option, and that means you can use what you already have in order to support them. Yeah, it's kind of like so many things in StarCraft 2, where it's like, we want to add something from Brood War, but we can't just add the Brood War unit. It's like, give us a Firebat. No. Okay, how about a unit that does splash damage with fire and can be healed? Nailed it. Alright, so there's a bunch of Marines. Serral. The queens are waiting. Come here, boys. Whenever you're ready. There are 2 types of people. When you look at these armies, which one excites you more? Like, army, that's just a bunch of queens. Did I stutter? Because the Marines did. That's how unconfident they are in their own micro. Stim's done. Combat shield is done. Significantly higher effectiveness now. He's already shift-queued into the Banelings, but it went a little bit too far, and that means he has to pick up and get out because, poof. Marines already pre-countered by Lings and Banes. I don't know, like... They just appear out of nowhere. He has the right amount. It's just enough Zerglings to shut it down. He didn't overbuild, though he did get a little supply block. Rebuilding 6 overlords at a time. The queens had enough. Get off my lawn. My lawn, which continually extends dramatically across the map, and by the 10-minute mark is on your front lawn. Okay, that's the property line. Hydra is dead. Maru has quite an army supply. And his 1-1 is going to be way quicker because Serral sprinted towards Lair, Hydras, and Bane Speed. So there is a real window of damage here. As he comes up, tanks. 1-1 is finishing momentarily. Baneling Speed is actually not going to be done until about the same time. And this is a nasty tank location between a rock and a hard place over here. Yeah, we've seen a lot of Terrans really utilize this. The Marines are pre-spread, 1-1 finishing. Baneling Speed at exactly the same time. The Queen's looking for it. Serral setting up the counterattack or the flank. We'll have to see what he decides on. But Maru has entrenched himself. Yeah, he's going for the flank. The Queen's starting to die. Holding for now. The transfuse is 1-1. Not gonna bother waiting for it. Here comes Serral. The Queens will hold the line. Will the Banelings crush the rest? And Serral undercuts the attack, dispatches the Marines, and rips apart the tanks. Dismantling a dangerous push with relative ease. And now the upgrades finished. It's not over yet, though. Maru, his economy untouched, can still consistently produce those Marines. And those, oh my god. He's gonna need to. Drop in the main. Loses a medevac. Some of you will not survive. Maru still maintains a supply lead with this production, though. As Serral had to pull Queens off, he doesn't have injects on all of his hatcheries. And that means right now he's actually banking money because the Queens were pulled to the front. He will, that is one thing Serral is, well, his Queen management is second to none. But the Queens had to fight. All of them. And now we're kind of seeing that as the production is not quite there to match Maru. He's not going to have 100 Zerglings in production for a while yet. Maru keeping the pressure up. Serral is essentially buying time. He doesn't have the overwhelming endgame army right now. Maru has the upgraded, well, he's going to have the upgrade advantage. He's still keeping up. 4th Command Center is landed and building a planetary. And the creep spread has been driven back. Maru playing a great game so far. Any Zerg but Serral would be on the back foot. Serral right now, it's tenuous. Oh, this is not as good. Caster Curse. I'm sorry, Maru of the past. That's my bad. Drilling Claw's on the way. Widowmine's being added in, but this time Serral already has a bunch of Hydralisks. Hydra is not nearly as vulnerable to the mines. Oh, you can't lose that one. You can't lose that one. Oh my god. Somehow he doesn't, but he gets all 4 mines. Oh, wow. That's actually a dozen drones. Meanwhile, this attack, a Widow Mine, looking for more. Another mine. Hits the Marines and the Banes. The gun, oh my god, the gun's floating up into the, towards the surface. Since we are underwater here, Serral pre-cancels this base. The mine drop, despite nearly going down on the way there, ends up unloading every mine and undercutting Serral just enough to get some breathing room for Maru. And he needs it. He's feeling the pressure. And it's not just because of 2,000 atmospheres. The tank count growing. He's really leaning on the mines this game. It feels like Maru is... This is kind of an awkward time to be trying things, but he's really... Instead of the Hellbats, he's gone for mines this game. Which... We'll have to see how it goes. I think Serral respecting that starts a lurker den. Though Serral also just has a bunch of money, so... The income, look at the y-axis here. There's never been a swing over 1,000. We're dead even. On the income tab. Maru has been working the map, and he's done it so well, he now actually has more workers. Maybe too many workers. He's got 3 more command centers on the way. He's got he's got, okay, +3 in production. 3 ghosts, 3 command centers. Cloak, +2 mech weapons. He's not maxed them. Working on it. Serral feints to the left, swings from the right. The Banes rolling through. And Maru with a capable defense on either side. As things have to settle down. Blue Flame for the impending Hellchads. Lurker Den complete. Vipers in production. Serral's creep spread not nearly as oppressive as it has been in the past. Maru's done a great job keeping control of the situation. The Baneling count. Dangerous, but not overwhelming. Serral doesn't have any gas in the bank. He's just now maxing out. Lurker upgrades. We're tier 3 everything now. Burrow. Nidus. Ooh, Nidus. Nidus indeed. Enhanced shockwaves as we explore all the other opportunities. What? Did he deletes his own sensor? You don't need to kill your own sensor tower. Maybe he just doesn't want anything in the way. You can build more sensor towers, Maru. I don't like. There's no limit. Ask Bronze Leaguers. Anyways, here comes a huge attack. Full energy Vipers on the field. Blinding Cloud gets a couple tanks. The zoning planetary, though. The zoning planetary holds the right flank. The left is broken by Blinding Cloud and a lack of static defense. How many command centers now? We're looking towards double digits. 94. Well, we've reached it. It's only 14 minutes in. These guys are insane. Serral, 3/4 of the corners of the map now. He's got both corners, but he's not mining the gas, which usually ends up being more valuable as time goes on. And considering the situation, I bet time will go on quite a bit now. Blue Flame Hellbat. +3 just started. That +3 is required to be able to one-shot the Zerglings. You do need that. Otherwise, they're just very tanky, but take a bit. Takes 2 hits. They're not the fastest attackers. You gotta upgrade your propane and propane accessories. A nuclear missile. Serral looking to break the tip of the spear here. EMPs, land, Vipers, no energy, Banelings rolling through. Medevacs in an awkward spot, snipes on whatever they can hit. The Banelings looking for the cloaked ghost. They can't see him, but they can still hit. And Maru is just smashed on the front lines. Down to 132 supply, 69 SCVs, 128 Zerglings in production. Oh my. And the only reason he stopped there, he still has 25 lava. The only reason he stopped there is because it's the supply limit. That pesky supply limit. Serral is maxed. He winds up. He's setting up. The Vipers have energy. The Zerglings are spread. Serral is ready. Here he comes again. Maru is prepared. EMPs land. Vipers still have some energy. Banelings crashing through the tank line. Is it enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks down. The snipes over the top of the Zergling. Maru holds. He gets the Overseers on the way out. But at what cost? Another 100lings. Serral consistently. Well, you can see, this isn't Serral losing mining. This is the mules making up the gap. The mule peaks once again as Maru, he drops another half dozen. Is Serral really doing... This is a Brood War-nitis. He's gonna start connecting all his bases. All right, one more time. Or however many more times. This time with Lurkers. EMPs, gets a yank on the Liberators. Looking for a blinding cloud. Doesn't find it. EMP, but the Banelings are closing in on the Ghost. The Planetary just crashes through, but the Ghosts survive the battle. The Lurkers will pick up and get out, but more SCVs are taken out. And we're gonna open it up again. 88 more Zerglings. But Maru, this time, Maru has lost 7,000 less minerals. Oh, the Nidus, the Scan, Lurkers targeted down, the Hydras and Lings on their own. Easy enough to deal with this. A Nidus into Serral's main. Maru, does Maru notice? Where's Maru's camera? Maru doesn't notice. Maru! 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 But, I mean... Oh no, he's sending all the ghosts back. Well, here comes Serral at the front. The ghosts aren't here! You can't set them all away! No! That means blinding clouds! Parasitic bomb! The Banelings crash through! And without the ghosts, the defenses are shattered! Reinforcements are not enough! Maru! The Nidus actually worked. He lost a bunch of ghosts in the main, it looks like, as well. That was the most obvious play of all. Like, I would rather lose the main. Maru knows. I think Maru knew as soon as he did it, he made a mistake. But you don't get that amount of leeway with Serral. You get exactly 0 seconds of time to decide. And by then, it's usually already too late. A scan. Serral looking for the EMP. I think he's gonna find it. Oh my god. He's just chasing this. The Nidus at the back. The Lings. He doesn't even need it. He EMPs the back line. The big things crash through. And Maru has only ghosts left. And right now, that's not gonna be nearly enough. He was still fighting with the ghost against other ghosts. That's one way to do it. A dozen SCVs as Serral batters down Maru. Oh, the Infestor. Does he not have another scan? He dropped every mule. He doesn't have it. Just EMP the ground at this point. The ghosts have no energy because of the other ghosts. That's how good they are. The Banelings roll through Serral's macro. Unstoppable. If you don't think he's the greatest StarCraft 2 player in the history of StarCraft 2, well then, you're either blind or a Terran. But I need not repeat myself. The Hydras overwhelming the Lings and Banes. Maru tried a lot of options. Limited success, but not nearly enough. Hundreds, nearly 1,000 Zerglings die. But so does Maru. 4-1 Serral. A decisive victory. An overwhelming defeat. An absolute macro god. And the defining player. Serral just seems to get better. Many players, they win the world championship. I guess not qualifying for DreamHack was Serral's slump. Okay. His slump. After the world championship, he didn't qualify for DreamHack. And now he's back to winning. He won Home Story Cup. He won TSL. Whatever other tournament, line him up, he'll knock him down. Serral. Need I say more? Thank you for watching. Thank you, Team Liquid. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Is Serral the greatest of all time? Leave a comment. Like, subscribe. Check out this video. Jimmy. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.